The multi-chart, they haven't realized something, that the African National Congress, after the 2019 manifesto review in Dobsonville, these people have been on the ground since then. Every week, the African National Congress is somewhere. The EFF, after the 10-year anniversary, the Kill the Boer anniversary in FNB Stadium, these people have been on the ground since then. Every week, they are somewhere on the ground. And I came on the platform. I don't know how many times. I said, guys, especially the multi-chat, I said, guys, are you even aware that you are sitting on the back seat? Are you even aware that you are allowing the ANC and the EFF to drive this narrative? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the 360 experience with myself, Thomas Mabaso. Guys, today I am so excited to have my sister. I know many of you know her by the name of Katleho Moagi. Citizen concerned, beware of the comrades. You know, these days, these days I would go to political channels and I would go to the comment section, man, and you would see people saying that Katleho Moagi, beware of the comrades, man. Like, are you even aware of the impact that you are having on people's lives?
Firstly, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. And I'm grateful that we're finally doing this after talking about it for the longest time. I don't know. I seek to make an impact. And if I am, I'm very grateful. Mission accomplished. But still, I desire to make an even bigger impact, especially in the next 3 months before we get into the election. So if I am making a bit of a dent, I'm grateful. Mission accomplished.
You're very happy about that.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, man, the question that I face a lot of times. People are asking me, Thomas, what pushed you to start the platform? And I would tell them that, like, people's ignorance is the one that actually pushed me. I honestly did not want to come into the space. I had my own ideas. I wanted to do my whole thing. I honestly did not want to come to the space, but the way our people are going, man, I had to do something about it. The way our people are so ignorant, the way our people are so attached with political parties and politicians, the way they continue to rage on about these political parties that have destroyed their lives. Man, Katlaho, sitting where I am in the first statement, I'm in Velcom, I'm in the first state, I'm in the heart of the African National Congress. These people have literally destroyed this beautiful city, man. The people who have lived here before, they know how beautiful Velcom used to be. These people have destroyed the Velcom, and they've destroyed the whole country, basically. But for some reason, majority of our people are still looking to vote for the same people who have destroyed our country. Our people, they still think that the same people who have destroyed our country can suddenly turn back and now fix everything. And the same people that have divided us, today in South Africa, we cannot even have conversations, because if you are white, if I'm black, there's no conversation between us. If you are Indian, if you're white, there's no conversation between us. And we have to be honest. These are the results of the politicians. These are the results of the politician teaming up with the mainstream media, making sure that the people are divided in this country. And this is the reason why I came into the space, guys. I had to do something. So I guess I'm going to have to ask you this question. What actually pushed you to come into the space? Because you've only been here for a couple of months, but man.
Thank you. Okay, I think it's similar to you, right? We all see what we see, right? After seeing it, we have different conclusions about it, but we all see what we see. And for me, for the longest time, we've been having conversations in the house, like on the bus, at work. We always talk about, guys, what is happening? Why is it happening? How do we feel about this, right? And I just get upset in our house. I just get upset in the bus, or whoever I'm having a conversation with. But last year, when I saw that, the problem is the politicians, right? But the people that the politicians are meant to serve seem to also not see the problem with the politicians. And for me, it was like what I thought was obvious, what I thought was common sense. I thought we are all angry, we all want to get rid of these people. But when I realized that actually there are people who support some of these politicians, I was like, no, man, we need to do something, right? We really need to do something. And something that I sincerely believe in is that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And I know that sometimes people come and say, hey, people get what they deserve, and since you voted for them, it's your fault. But I have a belief that to an extent, the people don't know, right? To an extent, what you think is common sense and common knowledge isn't that common. So for me, it was the thing of we need to educate our people. We need to educate them. The fact that they are believing, the fact that they are going to these rallies, the fact that they're posting what they are posting means that they generally think that it is right. They generally believe that it is right, and it is the responsibility of us who see different to kind of say, "Hey, have you seen this? Hey, you actually are deceived. Let's help you open up your eyes." And that was the intention of opening the channel and posting for the few months that we have been doing. Yeah.
And how are you dealing with the backlash, man? I know you are one of those people who is getting a lot of backlash. How are you dealing with that?
I think initially it was really painful because that you're not everybody's cup of tea, right? No, you're not money. Not everybody is gonna love you. But what happened on TikTok with the prostitution stuff, that kind of, I was like, hey, to that extent, guys, it shocked me a bit. But in reading what they were saying, the fact that they are able to lie like that, it was like, yeah, we're doing something and we need to keep going. But they still do it, right? They still come to the video. Like just yesterday's video, a few EFF supporters came on the Zuma video, a few MK supporters came, ANC people came. The ANC people actually don't come as much. But when they come with their negativity, for me, it's sometimes you're just thrown off a bit like, oh, do you really believe that? But I kind of try to be patient and say it's because they don't know what they're talking about. And sometimes I respond. Sometimes you find that it's a genuine person who really believes, right? Yes, they are harsh towards you, but they believe it. But you kind of see a glimmer of hope. If I just say the right thing, maybe they'll come onto the right side. So that's when we engage the people and comment and say, have you thought of this? Have you done this? Did you hear me say this? But other comments are just like, there's no point. I'm not even going to bother entertaining your comment. And after some time, I'm like, okay, I'm done reading the comments now. It just gets too much. And emotionally, it takes a lot from you. Emotionally, first of all, being insulted. And secondly, seeing the reality of where our people are emotionally and mentally. It's a lot. And at some point, after some hours, I'm just like, okay, I'm done with the comments now. Let me go back and prepare for the next one. Or be a mother, be a wife, be an employee, and go about my life. Yeah.
And one of the things that really annoys me, man, and especially about opposition parties, is that I genuinely feel like opposition parties are also trying to capitalize on the fact that majority of the people are ignorant and majority of the people are not well educated. Because I remember saying this on a stream some time ago, said that why do these political parties that want to kick out the African National Congress out of governance, they don't teach the people about political education. They don't teach people anything that has to do with politics, anything that has to do with the voting up until now. I mean, like, do you honestly expect, like, when the DA comes out and says that we want to teach our people so that they can vote better, do you honestly think that people are going to vote better? It's been 5 years. You haven't been teaching people for the past 5 years. And this is the same thing that the opposition parties are doing in South Africa. And they also get frustrated when people do not vote with them and say that, no, these people are making poor decisions. But I'm like, you guys had 5 years to teach people about all of these things. You come out now in a couple of months and you expect people to say, yeah, now I'm going to vote right. Now I'm well educated. I'm going to vote right. But it is your fault too. And I think the opposition parties also need to understand that it is your fault too. The fact that the people today are still making poor decisions, it is your fault too, because you are not teaching the people how to vote. You are not teaching the people the importance of voting. You are not telling the people that, guys, if you vote for Katlego, do you understand the kind of power you are giving to this woman? Do you understand the kind of privilege that we're going to put to the, like, do you understand that political parties are not doing that? Are not doing that. And I guess this is one thing again that honestly frustrates me, because these political parties, they will be all over the place bashing South African voters, telling people that these people are not voting better, these people are uneducated. This is the result of the African National Congress, this is the result of the 30%. But guys, you had 5 years. You had 5 years to teach people about all of these things. And I can bet today that these political parties that we have today in South Africa, especially the opposition parties, they are trying to take advantage of the people, and of people's ignorance, and the fact that people are not educated. Am I wrong for saying that?
So personally, I've been asked several times, who should we vote for, right? Which party should we vote for? And it's so difficult. It's so difficult for me to say vote for so and so. Vote. I know I've the only person I've said, okay, I think they might be good, was Action SA's Herman Mashaba. But I've never done a video telling people, okay, vote for so and so, right? And I'm still checking them out. But what makes it difficult is that they have also shown that they don't really fully care, right? They're also showing some red flags that, like, you want us to vote for you, right? But you're not coming out. You're not doing your job. You're not educating the people. And for me, once you don't educate the people, that's a sign for me to say you are preparing for when you are in power, if you do get into power, so that what the ANC is doing to the people, how they're deceiving the people, you too can deceive them. Right? Because if that was not your intention, you would be confident enough to say, let's educate these people, right? Even when I am in power, I want an educated group, country, group of citizens, right? We recently went, just this week, we went to Ekurhuleni in an informal settlement called Makawis. And then it was such a mess. It was just a mess. We're actually going to do a video on that. And we asked the people to say, who are you going to vote for this year? But yona leyo esiyaziyo i-ANC, meaning that one that we know, the ANC. And we're like, what about DA, Action SA, everyone else? And they're like, as yes, which for me, like, they know that they are those people, but those people have never come and say, hey guys, here we are. NC has done 1, 2, 3, 4 to you. We are promising this. Do you know about this? You know, educating the voters. They are not taking the time to even do that, which for me, it's like, if you can't even do it now when you're campaigning, can we even trust you to run this country right if we do vote for you? So yeah, voter education is something that I believe a lot of the parties are not taking seriously. Hence, we as the citizens are taking it upon ourselves to do the little that we do know. Like for me personally, I don't know about you. You seem to know a bit more, like a whole lot more than me actually. I don't know nothing about politics, right? Like I just do, like I just research something. I'm just like, this doesn't really make sense. And then I just quickly do some research and the information is right there. And then it's a matter of sharing, right? And if you can just use the internet to create the content that we do, like you who are the politicians, you have all so much knowledge. So why are you not using it to educate the people? It shows that some red flags on you too. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it shows some red flag, and I'm gonna disagree that me and you, man, we are the same. That's how you know we are the same. We are the same. I remember telling people that, guys, I am not a political analyst. I am just a random guy in the townships. Just speaking my mind, I am not a political analyst. You know, sometimes people are trying to hold us to that standard of the bogus political analyst that you always see on television. People are trying to hold us to that standard. And I'm like, man, do not hold me to that standard. I am not a political analyst. I am just an average guy who lives in the townships, just speaking my mind. And this is who I am. And I think this is the reason why a lot of people can relate to us, because they can see that we are not speaking from the position of privilege. We are not speaking because we know politicians, and we are trying to put a positive light to what politicians are doing, to what the ANC is doing. I mean, like, you know, when you watch the news, even if the ANC does something bad, something horrible, you know that the creators have stolen the money that was supposed to build the toilets, and 10 children have already died in those toilets. You will see political analysts on television saying that no, the African National Congress needs to do this, the African National Congress needs to do that. They're actually not acknowledging the fact that the children have died. They're not acknowledging that people have already lost their children, and they are not acknowledging that. And this is the reason why I feel like people are not even watching the news anymore. People are not like listening to those people anymore, because they can see that these people, most of the time, they are simply trying to provide cover for the African National Congress. They are trying to provide cover for their favorite political parties, instead of coming out and saying, guys, what the African National Congress has done is appalling. The fact that mothers have lost their children is appalling, and these people need to be punished for that. You will not get those comments on national television. And I think this is the reason why many people are actually like they gravitate towards us, because we speak like them. We speak like them. They can feel like Katlego, as much as people come out and say that Katlego knows nothing about politics, this woman told you that she knows nothing about politics and there's no way I'm going to listen to her. But people still go and gravitate towards you, because they can feel when you speak like Katlego is speaking on our behalf. Katlego is speaking like a concerned citizen. And I think this is the reason why I'm saying me and you, we are the same.
Okay.
Me and you, we are the same, man. And looking at our people, man, and the loyalty they have towards politicians, I honestly don't know if there's anything that we're gonna do to actually save this country. I don't think it is enough. Again, I remember doing a stream the other time talking about the importance of internet, that it is so funny today that you see political parties on the internet trying to campaign on the internet, but they've had 5 years to fight for the people on the ground to have the internet. I mean, like, can you imagine if many people on the ground actually had the internet? Political parties, there would be no need for people to do the rallies and everything. They would campaign on the internet. But today, you have the same political parties that never fought for the internet, and the same people are now advertising their manifestos. They are telling people that log to www.org, and I'm like sitting here and I'm like, man, these people clearly they don't know what they are talking about. People don't have the internet. People don't have the internet, man. What are your thoughts on that? Jesus.
It's really sad. And talking on the internet issue, we were even like, after going to Ekurhuleni at that informal settlement, we were like, there's a need to actually go out, because yes, we are here on YouTube, but the people who watch, it's not enough. It's not enough. These people that we just spoke about, there are millions of such people, and we need to really go out and educate such people. And hopefully at some point we get the opportunity and the funding to do that, and we will. But it's a sign on the politician side to say, if for 5 years, 5 whole years, you failed to do this, and now Kora to elections, you are able to do it. You are showing that you are able. The jobs that are suddenly being created, the doctors that are suddenly, being employed, they've been complaining for years. Now suddenly you are able to do it, right? Now suddenly you are able to tell us that you're going to give us grants. We don't know how you're going to bring us, but everything that you're managing to do or promising to do, you had 5 years to do it, and now suddenly you that's when you think you should do it. And I think that should be a sign to our people to say, these people are liars. It's like a boyfriend who has been beating you, cheating on you, and then they say, no, I'm changing, baby, what, and then you just accept him into your heart. It shows also what there's something wrong with you as a girl, right? Even the opposite. And I think our people also have that issue. They have that, I don't know, psychological, because for a girl to accept that something is not okay, right? Emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And I think our people also have that problem emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just trying to say this is what I think is happening. And what you're saying, on the internet, by now, in this day and age, how are we not with Wi-Fi in every single city, in every single township and village, right? It is possible. They make it seem like it's not, but it really is, right? And yeah, it's just sad to see how they fail to do things for 5 years and suddenly come up and do the bare minimum, and people still believe them. It's sad to see.
So do you believe if we can start going out, people will actually listen because of this loyalty they have towards politicians? Do you think people can listen to average people like us when we tell them not to vote for African National Congress? Can you imagine speaking with a EFF voters, telling them that, guys, voting for Malema, it is not good for you. Do you think actually average South Africans will listen to people like us?
It depends. It depends. I think it depends on how loyal the person is. Two, it depends how we package the message. I think it's not just a thing of don't vote for these people, right? It's a thing of doing the work before that to say basically we are seeing the fruit. We are seeing the fruit. The fact that these people are willing to be loyal to these people, to these politicians, to these political parties, with all the evidence that we can see, this is just the fruit. But there's a seed that has been planted years ago. There's a seed that has been watered for years on years, right? So it's a lot of work of digging and taking that seed out. And it's not, if it's a grown tree, a very tall tree, there's a lot of cutting and then uprooting. It's a big job. And I think the job has to do with educating, knowledge, right? They've learned a lot of lies. They've learned a lot of, propaganda for years. And for them to unlearn that, we need to replace that knowledge with something else. We need to replace it with truth. And I believe that is what we are trying to do with our videos. Instead of just coming and say, this is the situation, we try and do, you know, this is what they're showing you. This is the truth. These are the facts that you have not been shown. And I think even when we do go out to the people, we need to show them, just like a boyfriend, the boyfriend and girlfriend situation. Look at this guy. Look at what he has done to you. It's not automatic that she's gonna say, no, I don't love her anymore. I don't love him anymore. It's a seed of love that has, that has blossomed into a beautiful flower, not a beautiful flower. But it's not easy. We need to say, this is a sign. This is why you need to let go of him. This is the result of being with him. And in time, I believe that it will happen. And ultimately for me, it's God. We can talk as much as we can. We can shout. We can say it in every way. But ultimately, we need to be praying for South Africa. We need to be praying for us as we create the content, and for the people who consume it to receive it with an open heart, to realize, to say, we're not speaking down on you. We're not against you as a person. We're not. It's not about us. It's about the country. It's about the well-being of the country. And I think God Almighty is the one who can do it all. So we do our best, and He will do the rest, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know why do people actually think that we are speaking down on them whenever we try to highlight something that is important in South Africa, man. And most of the time, it is young people in South Africa, man. The attitude of young people towards what is happening in South Africa today. I am honestly worried about the attitude of young people in South Africa, man. What do you think about young people and their attitude towards politics and what is happening in the country in general? Because that the majority of young people are not even interested in voting. They are not even interested in participating in anything that is happening in the country. And these are the people that are taking the biggest hits. Young people in the country are taking the biggest hits. They are sitting at home. They are unemployed. Many of them have already taken their lives. Many of them, they are drunk addicts. Many of them, they are taking the biggest hits. But when you look at their attitude, man, I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on young people and their attitude towards what is happening in South Africa?
I think it has a lot to do with culture, the culture that we have adopted, accepted, promoted as South Africans, from the oldest to the youngest. Obviously, not everyone, not all of us do that, but when we are promoting lifestyles of young girls doing whatever it takes to make money, when we promote that it's all about getting the bag, when we create a culture where we accept young people, even old people, getting BBLs just for the sake of making that money, instead of promoting a culture of working hard, finding that thing of value within yourself and sharing that with the world and allowing that to be how you make money. When we say, it's about the dancing, it's about the clubbing, it's about, who can buy the most expensive shoe, most expensive vodka, and all of that, we can't be surprised when the people that we have told that this is the way of life, when they don't care about the valuable things. in life. We can't be shocked. We are telling them what is important, what is valuable by the likes, by the things that we download, by the things that we share, you repost, and all of that on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere. When we do that, we are quietly saying, this is what is important, right? We never talk about important things. We shy away from politics. And it's a message. And then now the young people have accepted the message, and we are shocked. We are shocked when the result is making sense. And I think with understanding that, we need to now go back and say we need to change the culture. We need to acknowledge the toxic cultures that we have accepted and adopted and promoted in our homes, in our communities, on social media, and begin to actively promote things that matter. Personally, I was also one of the people that was like, politics is too serious, politics is boring, politics is a waste of time. And I'm so glad that last year I kind of said, no, I need to actively look at it. As sad and as depressing as it might be, it's something that we need to look at. And unfortunately, a lot of our young people are like, hey, South Africa, it's too depressing. We need some fun time and whatever. And unfortunately, they're too much on the fun time. You can't just enjoy, you can't just celebrate. What are you celebrating? What have you accomplished? What have you done? We are going down. When are you celebrating? How? So we need to talk to them, and we need to also be active about what we promote.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember last time you were talking about the culture of Amapiano, and it's very sad what is happening in the townships, man. Some of the people that are consuming our content, they are not actually familiar with what is happening in the townships, man. These people, they don't know what is happening in the townships. It's very sad, man. I remember that video of yours. I watched that video a lot of times. I remember there's other content creator, like there are a couple, Sibu and Spay. They were also talking about the same thing: the culture of Amapiano, the culture of not caring, the culture of complaining. Like, this is what we have embodied as young black people in South Africa. And every time, the problem that I have with young people in this country is that every time when we try to talk to black people directly, they will always say, yeah, you are talking like that because you are trying to provide cover for white people. It's almost as if we cannot talk about the issues that are affecting us as black people, solely us, without actually, involving other races. Because I read your comments every time. You will talk about something that, like, that direct inflict, like, it hits us directly, and these people are like, no, Katlo, you're talking nonsense. I remember last time when you did that painful video about that young child, the lawyer that robbed. People were eating you alive, and I was like, man, how can these people do this, man? How can these people do this, man? It's so unfortunate that today we still have young people. Today in South Africa, we have young people that are telling you that our lives are the way they are because of apartheid, man. Like, this is another phenomena that we have to go into, man. The apartheid phenomena, man. I thought that by now, this whole thing of apartheid, man, I thought this whole talking point of apartheid would be worn out, but it looks like in 2024, man, it's more effective, man.
Yeah, it's so sad. Hey, it is so, so sad, because the video that you're talking about, I even titled it Black on Black, because I just wanted to highlight how successfully the politicians they've mastered this thing. I don't know who told them, but they really got it right. The art of saying whatever is wrong, white people are to blame. They've done it, because right there you have everyone involved in that situation was a black person, right? Everybody that was involved in stealing the money belonging to the child with cerebral palsy, it was black people. But for some reason, white people are to blame, and it's such a deep thing, and it's such a sad thing to see, right? It's a lot, Thomas. It's a lot. And my thing there was trying to show people that black people are evil, white people are evil. Black people are racist, white people are racist, right? What a white person can do to you, I can do to you too, good and bad. Yet for some reason, they fail to see that because of what is in their head, because of what is in their heart, right? It's like, I can't see anything. It's like they're seeing everything through the spectacles of racism and white this and white that. And it's so unfortunate. Talking about apartheid, I don't want to say apartheid has no effect. It has a whole lot of effects, right? I wasn't there. I didn't experience it, but my mother's told me about it. I've watched documentaries on it, and the white people that were for apartheid were terrible. They were very inhumane towards black people. What they did was horrible, and yes, there are effects of it to this very day. But you cannot, as an individual, forever say, because this happened to me, I cannot succeed. Because I experienced this, because I was, for example, because I was molested as a young person, I can never get married. I can never heal. I can never love. I will forever hate men, right? One man molested you. One man, right? Now, does that mean that all men are molesters? Does that mean that all men are evil? No, it doesn't. The apartheid group, the white people who were for apartheid, they hurt us as black people. It's true. And the effects are there. But does that mean that all white people are hateful and they want us to be slaves and want us to be oppressed? No. And there's evidence of that. When we interact with them at work, there are racist ones and there are good ones. When we interact with them in a shop, on the bus, on social media, wherever, there is evidence that they are the good ones and they are the bad ones. But why are we allowing ourselves to be told and to believe that they are all wrong? Why do you do that when there's evidence? Like, there is evidence. Why can't you think for yourself? Why can't you look for yourself? When I'm talking, why can't you hear and then evaluate what I'm saying? But you don't even want to do that. You just want to walk around hateful, and it's not good for you. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your economical health. It's not good for anything for you, right? Because you are standing in the way of somebody. And I'm not saying that white people are the only people that can help us, but they can also help us, right? But you are narrowing, the number of people that can help you, that you can help, that we can collaborate together with to make South Africa better. That's what I think.
Yeah, me, me, when it comes to this whole thing, I'm a bit radical when it comes to this whole apartheid thing, because I think by your description, you just told us that people are people. Whether you are black, whether you are Indian, whether you are white, you can be a good person, you can be a terrible person. I think this is what you are telling us, essentially. I remember last time, and they were eating me alive, and I said, there is no need for us to fight this whole thing of racism. We will never get rid of racism, because in life, you will always find people who are bad. You will always find people who are good. So this whole thing that, yes, as black people, we must fight racism, as if black people are not racist themselves. You come to the townships, you hear and you hear how black people are speaking with some of the people that come from Malawi, people who come from Mozambique, and these are black people. They are being racist towards other black people, and these are the same people who will tell you that no, black people can never be racist. Me, I said it already, that this whole thing of being obsessed about racism, it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me, and I think it's a waste of time for us to try to solve the racism. Like, it's a waste of time. People will always be people, man. You cannot end racism. There is not a single country in the world that can tell you that we have eradicated racism. So why are we here every day trying to fight to eradicate racism? We will never be able to eradicate racism, man. And politicians have won on that, man.
No, they've really done a good job. They've done an amazing job, and I'm sure they just sit and laugh and look at them fight our battles for us. We're supposed to be accounting, but instead of them holding us accountable, they are blaming white people who have nothing to do with the situation.
Exactly. And you know what? And you know what is most annoying about these politicians is that they will tell you that you must hate white people. Hate white people with all your heart. But they live with white people. They take their children to the schools that are predominantly white. But they tell you in the ground that, man, you must never even look at white person, man. White person is evil. But these people are living with them. The case is Julius Malema. Like, Julius Malema, his whole life is contradiction. His whole life is contradiction to what he's saying. Because everything that he's speaking, like his life, he says, no. These people, man, if they were really genuine, they would live in the townships with the people that they are representing. If they didn't want anything that has to do with white people, they would not take their children to the schools that are predominantly white. They would not do that. But these politicians are doing all of these things, man. Some of them, they are even taking their children overseas to these countries that are predominantly white. But at the same time, they are telling black people on the ground that you must not even look at white people, man. And I'm like, man, these people have won. These people have won, man. So, Katla, my sister, what are your predictions, man? How do you think the elections are going to go? Because I think the ANC is going to win again. Unfortunately, I think the ANC is going to win again. I think in South Africa, we don't have a political party that can actually take ANC to task. Because I think for a political party to actually take ANC to task, they will have to take everything that we spoke about into consideration. The fight against the ANC does not begin in the election season. No, the fight against the ANC begins right after the elections. You're gonna start educating the people. You're gonna start fighting for the people on the ground to have the internet. You're gonna, like, you see what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm saying that
Yep.
unfortunately the African National Congress is going to win again. And I'm going to ask you again a question that I always ask. What does the African National Congress needs to do before the people say enough is enough? What can the ANC do at this point before people say like, now I think now we are enough?
Actually, oof, that's a, because they've killed people. I was gonna say if black people die at the hands of the ANC, that would be it. But people have died of cholera in Hammanskraal. People have died in hospitals because of the ANC. People are dying because of crime that is not being dealt with because of the ANC. So if it's not a matter of death, I'm not too sure what people really want. Maybe a miracle. I don't know what it will take for people to not, what they can do. I feel like they've done everything to prove to us that they should not, they do not deserve to govern. So I don't think it's now on the ANC side. I think it's on the voter side. It's a matter of what will it take for a voter to vote right. And I think it's the right knowledge. And I know that people are like, they've seen enough. It's not enough. Remember with Moses and the Israelites. The Israelites saw slavery. They were enslaved. They were enslaved. And then here's a man, Moses, saying, guys, let's go. Let's leave. And then they leave. Like someone is helping them leave. But they're like, hey, now who are you? How are you? And where are you taking us? Guys, slavery versus an opportunity. Like, even if this opportunity is not really clear, is it not better than slavery? So I think there's a lot of enslavement mentality within the citizens of South Africa that needs to really be uprooted through a lot of knowledge and talk and everything. And I think the next 5 years, like you, I think that the ANC still has a lot of potential of winning. So it's up to us to say the next 5 years, let's help people to come out of that slavery mentality. Let's teach them right. I don't know if the political parties are going to join us in doing the right thing, but I believe we will continue the fight in helping people think right. I'm thinking about the coalitions with the ANC and EFF, and having seen what has happened in Ekurhuleni, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. And I just hope, and like, I wish that the multi-party, the GA and everyone in that multi-party had done more, They're trying, but I don't think they've done enough. I don't think they've done enough. If you look at the EFF, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They have interviews on every radio station, on News Africa, SABC, ENCA. Every day there's some new thing that pops onto your YouTube from Julius Malema. And then you see John Steenhuisen now and then, or should I say Mashaba now and then. And even when they do come, it's like, are you sure? Like, show me that you can lead me, man. Come on, show that power, show that. You don't see it. And that's one thing that Julius Malema really, you cannot take it away from him. He has mastered that art of speaking well, of showing up, of being there. I know that a lot of people were mocking him regarding his whole sinus situation during the manifesto and the wind. But for me, there was like, that guy's determined. That guy's driven with mucus rolling down, with tears and everything. Instead of you laughing at him, see that this is a driven and determined man. Okay, he may be determined and driven to lead us astray, but he is definitely driven. And I think that's what we need from the other political parties that we are not seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julius is something else, man. Julius is something else. The other day I was like, the multi-chart, they haven't realized something, that the African National Congress, after the 2019 manifesto review in Dobsonville, these people have been on the ground since then, every week. The African National Congress is somewhere. The EFF, after the 10-year anniversary, the Kill the Boer anniversary in FNB Stadium, these people have been on the ground since then. Every week they are somewhere on the ground. And I came on the platform. I don't know how many times. I said, guys, especially the Multiart, I said, guys, are you even aware that you are sitting on the back seat? Are you even aware that you are allowing the ANC and the EFF to drive this narrative? I was like, right now, the DA, I think, is going to take the biggest hit because the DA is not the topic of the discussion, especially on the ground. The DA is not the topic of the discussion. People are talking about ANC, EFF, maybe MK party, but they are not talking that much about the DA. And I said, guys, if you're gonna form a multi-party chart, if you guys wanna go out to a rally, all of you guys, you need to go to a rally. If the DA says, guys, we are doing a rally in Pretoria, Herman Mashaba must tell the supporters of Action and say that, guys, go there. Shabisa must tell the people from IFP that, guys, go there. And so if these people can move as one, they would actually have more impact, and they would actually show South Africans that, guys, just because we belong to different political parties, it doesn't mean that we cannot sit down and talk. It doesn't mean that we cannot put the issues that we disagree with on the side. We can still put those issues on the side and still focus on the issues that are, that are common with us. I told these people, Katleo, at the beginning of the year, I said, guys, you need to move as one. Then guess what? Herman Mashaba did a rally. No one supported Herman Mashaba. And then the media came out mocking him. Man, the EFF was having a field day mocking Herman Mashaba. And I was like, how is it possible for Herman Mashaba to have a rally when this person is a part of Multiart? Where are other political parties? Where are other leaders of the Multiart? And I think these people, man, are going to lose. And simply because of that, this is the reason why they are going to lose, because they've actually missed an opportunity to show South Africans that, guys, even if we belong to different political parties, we can sit down and actually have conversations. We can sit down and say, of course, we don't agree on 1, 2, 3, but saving South Africa is better. So let's come together. And if these people can actually move as one, can you imagine? You see, like Neil de Beer from UIM. You see how charismatic, how energetic he is. Can you imagine if that guy does a rally somewhere and the DA pumps their supporters there? Action SA goes there, IFP goes there, all of these parties goes there, and Neil de Beer is a keynote speaker. Man, South Africans are going to hear him. South Africans are going to hear him. And I was like, guys, this thing is here it's here on the plain side, but you are not doing that. You are not doing that. And I think this is the reason why they're going to lose. I honestly think this is the reason why they're going to lose, man. Your predictions, my sister, in percentages.
Oh. No, I can't do percentages. But I'm thinking ANC number 1, EFF number 2, and then DA in the mix, and then MK. I know they're very, they're acting high and loud and stuff, but I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna get a high percentage.
I think so.
So it's like, maybe I hope they don't, but it's also a thing of, do people really believe that Jacob Zuma is gonna do it for them? Like, do they really believe it? But
yeah,
also,
they do.
I have two minds about this, right? I hope that they don't get a high vote, but then I'm also worried that if they don't get a high vote, knowing them, what is their response going to be? So you're kind of like, maybe they should just get a high vote for peace sake, just for the peace of the nation, right? It's so sad, like, for me to actually verbalize that I believe that multi-party is gonna get a small vote. It doesn't sit well with me.
Of course, because you want change, man. You want change.
Yes, I do. I really do. I really do. But there's still time. There are 3 months. Who knows? We can still pop up some videos. A lot. You, me, Morning Shot, and everyone else.
But I honestly don't think we can. I don't think we can do enough, because, like you said earlier on, man, these people are on the ground. These people are on the ground, and us, we are on YouTube. And the same people that we are trying to talk to, they cannot even afford being on YouTube. That is the thing. The people that we are trying to communicate with, they are not even on YouTube. That's why now you would find a lot of privileged blacks telling us that, man, you guys are just the apologists for white people. You are just taking cover for white people. Because these are people who are well off. Most of the
Yeah.
members of the African National Congress who are well off, they don't care about black people on the ground. So the people that we are genuinely trying to communicate with, they cannot even afford being on YouTube. You look at people like Jacob Zuma,
Mm.
Isma Khashul. These people are on the ground. Isma Khashule is trying
Uh,
to take over Free State, and the people in Free State, they love him so much. That's why I always warn my subscribers. I said, guys, as much as you don't like Isma Khashule, please do not underestimate him. I live in the Free State. I know the kind of power that man has. That man is loved in the Free State. He is loved by many people in the Free State. The same way Jacob Zuma is loved in KZN. You can say whatever that you want to say about Jacob Zuma. You can say that Jacob Zuma, yeah, he's a thug and what. But that man, the people of KZN, they love Jacob Zuma. And people like really need to understand these things. So I don't know, man. I honestly don't think that we can do enough for now. I think the fight that we're gonna have to fight is for next 5 years. But for now, I honestly, and it is so sad for me to say this, but I honestly believe that we have already lost. We have already lost the battle. The country after 2024 election is gonna go to the dogs.
I don't want to say yes to that.
It is. It is. I'm telling you, it is.
I'm a serious optimist. Like I know. Well, I based on what I can see, um, it's not really going the direction that we want. But I am hoping that even if the ANC does win and the EFF, right, they don't manage to destroy the country. I'm so prayerful, like God, like confuse their plans or something, like let them not destroy the country. I know that right now we didn't work early enough. We didn't the multi-party didn't do what they needed to do, but I refuse to accept that the country is gonna go down. Maybe I'm delusional, but please leave me in my delusion. I refuse to accept that this country is going down.
So, so do you think the ANC would rather go into coalition with the DA or would rather go into coalition with the EFF? Because I have a theory that chances are the ANC would go into coalition with the EFF. Why? Because no one in the EFF will actually hold the ANC accountable. And that is like, this is what I'm saying. I know people are saying, no, the coalition of the ANC and the EFF is going to destroy this country. You know, for the longest time, people have said that. And I was one of those people who said that, no, that coalition is fine because they have similar policies. So maybe something can actually be figured out. But then I had to, snap out of it and actually realize that if these people go into coalition, the EFF has already proven that they love money, they worship money. The ANC loves money, they worship money. So if these people go into coalition together, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, as much as the ANC Veterans League says that we want to go, like we would prefer going to coalition with the DA, but I don't think going to coalition with the DA, that is the move that the ANC is going to take, because after all, the DA, they still want to punish the ANC. So if the ANC is going to open the door a bit for the DA to enter, the DA is going to punish them heavily. They are already punishing them right now with just the cadre deployment records and silly things. Can you imagine if the DA can actually get their hands on serious stuff? They're going to punish ANC so much, and the ANC is aware of that. They are aware of that. But when it comes to Julius Malema, man, Julius Malema worships Ramaphosa. He loves Ramaphosa with all of his heart. He says that he's living, like his house is a couple of houses near where Ramaphosa stays. These people, man, are having dinners, they are having lunches. So I think the ANC is going to go into coalition with the EFF. That's why I'm telling people that, guys, me, I'm a realist. I'm telling you guys, please buckle up because it's about to get bad. So in terms of coalition, which coalition do you think the ANC will go into coalition? I don't want to say the one that you want, because the one that you want, yeah, it can be far, but I want us to be realistic. Which coalition do you think, which party do you think that the ANC is going to invite to govern the country with?
I think I'd have to agree with what you're saying, because if I want to steal, obviously I'm not going to invite somebody who's going to stand in my way of stealing. And in this case, DEA has proven that they seek to stop the ANC from stealing. So EFF is the better bet. Both of them. I think those two parties, their policies, their direction is more in the same way compared to if they were to partner with other political parties. So unfortunately, I think they'd go ANC and EFF. Dangerous, but unfortunately, I think that's what reality is saying.
You cut for a second, Mrs. Please. You cut
I
for a second.
said, sorry, I said looking at the ANC and EFF, what they believe in, and the DA, these two seem to be more on the same direction, following the same path. So it makes more sense for them to have a coalition together than it does for them to have one with the DA, because the DA will stand in their way of healing some more. So unfortunately, ANC and EFF is more of what makes sense right now, unfortunately.
You are ready to have Julius as your deputy president.
Oh, oh God.
You're about to have Julius as your deputy president, man. Like, you know, Kata, I always tell people to buckle up, man. I always tell, like, you know, I told people to buckle up. In South Africa, man, you have to buckle up for something. Something big is going to happen. Isma Hashule told us that there's not going to be rigging of the elections. So chances are, Isma Hashule and Jacob Zuma, they might deny the election results. And that is going to cause chaos. That is going to cause chaos. And again, if the African National Congress wins the election, of course, like not with the majority, they're going to invite the EFF. So South Africans better buckle up, whether you like it or not. Buckle up for something. It's either you're gonna buckle up for the chaos that political parties gonna come out and say that ANC stole the elections, or you better buckle up for the ANC and the EFF coalition. But buckle up for something. It is coming.
Something,
It is coming.
something, Jay.
So, my sister, man, what would you like to say to our subscribers? I know that this is our first conversation, but we are about to have more. What would you like to say to our subscribers, man, combined?
Combined. I'd like to say one thing from what we said now. We can take a lesson from the EFF, right? Their policies are not so great, right? A lot of people dislike them, but they worked hard. They had a goal and they worked towards it, right? They didn't waste time. They didn't waste time. They were determined. They were driven to that goal, right? Even if it may not be a pleasant goal, a goal that I don't agree with, that you don't agree with, but they were determined to say, we are going to be left, right, and center in the faces of everyone to make ourselves known so that we can boost our votes in May. And I think we can take a lesson there to say, in the different things that we do, no matter what we are battling up for in South Africa, right? The turmoil, unemployment, different things that are happening. You as an individual, you as a citizen, also have a goal for yourself. Stop looking at the politicians. We try to say that a lot on our Mondays on citizen consent. Stop looking at the politicians for that employment, for that grant, for whatever you're looking for. Have a goal for yourself. Find something that is valuable for you and be driven towards that. Really focus on that, the way the EFF was focused, and look at where they are now. They've achieved a lot. We don't like it, but they've achieved a lot. And that is what I say on the channel. You may say they are racist, which they are, but if you are valuable, if you find that thing, that brings value in someone's life, they'll be willing to pay money for it. They'll be willing to employ you. They'll be willing to promote you, to fund you, to do that thing that you need them to do. So focus on that. Politics, we can't control it. We do what we can. They steal, they do whatever, but we're not focused on yourself. Please continue to support both our channels. Please subscribe, please donate, please watch the adverts. They help us out. Let's share the message and always beware of the comrades.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen, from our sister Katlego. Please tell us what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabal, so I'll see you next time. Bye bye.